Okay, before we get into the episode, I just want to say a really quick thank you to everybody who's checked out the channel and the videos recently. The last episode of The Cutting Floor is now the most viewed video on my channel to this point, which is insane. So thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world that you're here. With that, I also want to say that, hey, this is a new space. I have moved. I'm in a new recording area, so I'm figuring things out. Let me know in the comments some feedback on how I could do things. We're going to be figuring this out over the next couple of weeks as we get into the swing of things. And finally, the big one, the announcement. The Patreon will be live for The Cutting Room Floor this Tuesday with a brand new exclusive episode on the Patreon. The top link in the description is the Patreon link. Go there, sign up if you can. If you cannot, The Cutting Room Floor will continue here on the main channel every Saturday at 11 a.m. If you can, though, you'll not only get an exclusive episode every Tuesday at 11 a.m., but you'll also get an early access to that week's episode of The Cutting Room Floor on Thursday at 11 a.m. I'm looking into some more special bits to make it worthwhile, but if that sounds good to you, link is in the description. Now, let's get into today's video. Welcome back to The Cutting Room Floor, the show where your favorite creator, me hopefully, sits down and talks about some fantastic projects. Today's a big one. Today's the first non-McMaplet, so non-me making, I lost my train of thought, but non-McMaplet project. This is actually a viewer request. Here you are, your comment will also be up there. I am talking about Jeepers Creepers. Let's get right into it. On a road trip to their parents' home, that storm's violin just killed both of them. Why is it only coming for one? Breaks into the station because it's revealed that there is another. All right, Jeepers Creepers. Well, first of all, spoilers. I'm gonna give it a little synopsis so you guys can follow along, even if you haven't seen it. This is the 2001 horror film starring Gina Phillips and Justin Long as siblings Trisha and Derry on a road trip to their parents' home in Florida when they stumble upon the Creeper. I did. You'll see it later on. I didn't know his name. He is the Creeper disposing of bodies. Actually, they're almost run off the road by him and they see him disposing of bodies down this pipe. They get run off the road properly by him. After that, they go back. Derry decides to investigate, slides down the pipe, and finds the Room of Pain, which is full of bodies, 300 to 400 of them. From there, they go to a diner where they call the police, and the Creeper breaks into their van, sniffs his dirty underwear, not theirs, just his, and goes. While going back with the police officers to show them the church, which is on fire at this point, the Creeper attacks, kills both police officers, and gives chase. Derry and Trisha make it to a house with a cat lady that was predicted earlier in the phone call from the psychic that they received at the diner. At this home, the cat lady attempts to help and almost kills the Creeper, but not really. She is then killed by the Creeper, who goes to attack very slowly, might I add, and walk towards Derry and Trisha, who have time to get into their car and run him down. And proceed to run him over and over and over again until he sprouts wings, at which point they run him down and drive to a police station. At this station, the psychic shows up again and tries to talk to them and explain things, but really is very cryptic and does not give much, until the Creeper attacks the police station, killing an inmate and a guard. Well, I guess he's just a cop. Before an ultimate climax between the police force, Derry and Trisha, the Creeper, the psychic, ends with, big spoilers, the Creeper taking Derry and leaving, in which it's revealed at the very end that he took his eyes. And that's the gist of Jeepers Creepers. But let's talk about what I actually thought of it. You are the one who wanted to do this, dude. But at this point, it's just kind of like it's a weird way to just like shoehorn the... As usual. There's no ambulances, there's no anything, all that. So it was weird for you to just like jump like that. Okay, now that we've talked about the synopsis of the film, I can actually get into talking about what I thought. spoilers will still be here, but they won't be so much talking about the details of the film as so much as I am talking about how I think the film works and what I thought of it. So, starting off, I watched the entire thing here, actually, sitting right here. And I wanted to give myself a day to think about what I thought because it hooked me. I think it's great right off the bat. It's got a fantastic start. I could not tell at the very beginning if Gina and Justin were playing siblings or a couple. Luckily, that was cleared up pretty quickly. They both do fantastic in their roles, especially in the first act. I would say once we get into Act 2, then especially Act 3, Gina kind of takes a step back and Trisha really isn't much of a character. She's very static. And it becomes more and more apparent, and it has more of an impact farther into the movie. Justin Long, however, does fantastic in his role of playing Derry, which I think was great. He was fantastic, and he looks so young. I did not realize that he was looking like that in 2001 when I wasn't even born, and 23 years later, he kind of still looks the same. So I want the secret to his youthful look. That being said, I think this film starts fantastically. It opens with them just in the car going, and then the creeper arrives. And it's explained later on, but it's really just weird in the first place of him just like tailgating them and like driving up on them and like trying to scare them. Like it is just like, oh, like this is just kind of out of nowhere. And later on, it's explained that it's him trying to make them afraid so he can smell their fear to see if it's something that he wants from them. But at this point, it's just kind of like that's a weird way to just like shoehorn the antagonist of the film in. But retrospectively, it makes a lot of sense, and it's not that big of an issue. He goes by, they keep driving, and they drive by the church where he is, and he is dumping bodies into this pipe. And then he sees them and gives chase, runs them off the road, and leaves them there, which I don't fully understand. If he gave chase because they saw him dumping bodies, why not say to finish them off there? Not being nitpicky. Just a small thing I'm thinking about, but it's not a film. It's not we don't think about that. And then we get to the horror movie character choice. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. The logical thing, you've been run off the road by this person who you believe was dumping dead bodies down a pipe. What do you do? Do you do A? Let's actually present the choice. Do you A, go to the nearest diner and call for help from the police? B, go to the nearest police station and call for help directly from them there? Or C, turn around and go back to investigate yourself? You got an answer? If you chose C, you would be doing the same thing as Trisha and Derry, because they turn around and go back to the church, where Derry is looking in the pipe, and somehow, I don't fully get it. He sees light at the end, but it's just kind of like the light from the pipe going down, and there's nothing down there, but he sees light. Either way, rats come up. Trisha drops him because he's kicking like a wild man. Falls down there, and like in just such a fun shot. Justin Long, you like for a second you're looking, and it's like just in this like it's just a spotlight. And you're like, oh, is he moving? And then he hits the ground and you realize like, oh, that was just like, it was him moving and showing like distance. I thought that was a really fun shot. And that kind of, that got my attention. I was like, oh, I kind of want to watch this now. Not that I didn't want to watch it in the first place, but I'm in. That being said, he then finds the room of pain, house of pain, I don't remember what the psychic calls it, and finds all these bodies. And I was like, wow, like, not to be a hater, but they're all like well preserved. They all have skin and everything still, and they're all over this space. Luckily, they're preserved like purposefully. That's an actual plot point, and I was happy about that because I was kind of worried at that point that I was like, oh, are they just like not going to explain the fact that there's like so many of these bodies in here, none of them show any sign of decay, but they do. Derry also meets a victim, shares a little moment, and that's that. Things are also a little weird when you skip to the ending, but we'll get back to that later. From there, he gets back out. There's a little fake out of, you think the creeper's truck is coming back, but it's not. Derry gives Trisha a little jump scare. They get to a diner where Derry's not talking, not giving her anything, but they call the police. The cops show up and kind of take a statement. They're being a little hysterical. Derry's very, very firm in the fact that he saw what he saw. The cop does not dismiss him. I actually think this cop is one of the more reasonable horror movie cops of all time. Rather than dismissing him, he just says, you gave me a lot, it's just a lot to process, so I need you to give me a little patience. And I thought that was a really good way of like explaining why the cop's not just like either A, dismissing him, or B, like if someone said there's a room full of bodies, you would jump at that. But it's like the disbelief. And I thought that was a good way of the cop expressing that without taking too much. At this point, the creeper has shown up, broken into the car, and is sniffing Derry's dirty laundry while talking to the cops. And a member of the restaurant tells a waitress, who then tells them. And they go out, they look, they see it's all over. There's a dead skin print. And everyone's just kind of looking from in the diner. And at this point, it's like, well, how did people not see him arrive and leave? Like, it's not like this was like a hidden thing. It was at the pumps. So that's a little part where you're like, oh, I don't know. But you can tell it's setting up the creeper's reveal. From this point, Derry and Trisha, they bounce between Trisha and Trish, lead the police officers to the church, which is set on fire at this point, to go see the bodies. While driving, thump, the creeper arrives. But I've almost forgotten the big thing. While at the diner, they get this call from the psychic, who kind of rambles, talks about like, oh, have you seen this yet? Have you seen this yet? Have you seen this? And it gives like a couple of plot points, but it doesn't, I really like it because it does not give everything away. And I feel like that's like an easy thing to do with a psychic, is you think you're giving enough and you are actually just giving way too much information to the audience. And I think in this one, it was the bits and pieces. It was like, have you seen the cat lady yet? Your shirt's ripped. When you hear the song Jeepers Creepers, run. And even with that, when she plays Jeepers Creepers, it's the, where'd you get those peepers, Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those eyes? The creeper takes Derry's eyes. And so it's like, without even realizing, it's telling you directly what the creeper wants from him, without even knowing that the creeper wants something from him. At this point, it very much is like insinuated to you that the creeper is coming after Derry and Trish because they saw him dumping bodies, not for any other reason other than that. But we jump back to them driving. The creeper goes. I think it was a really fun scene where Trisha and Derry get in the car because Jeepers Creepers is playing on the radio, and they're like fighting and arguing over it. And you can see through the car, the creeper on top of the police cruiser, killing them. And then he breaks to the ceiling, like the roof of the car, pulls the driver out, and then pulls this axe out of nowhere that does not appear at any other point in the film. He has this like crazy stylistic axe that he beheads him with, and then throws the head at Trisha. And I have to say, when I was watching it, at this point where they skate to a stop and the police cruiser skates to a stop, I'm like, oh, like you really had the stunt driver in there to brake, so like it kind of like takes away like the, oh, it's like out of control. But then it's revealed that the creeper is now driving, and that was kind of cool. Like, oh, whoa, like you had me there, which was cool. And then they just kind of sit there, and it loses momentum here. And this is my issue with Jeepers Creepers. I feel like it loses momentum because there is no other reason for the creeper that is seemingly hunting Trish and Derry to be taking all of these detours and like purposely moving slower to give them a chance to react. Trish almost walks to the car, and the creeper pops the door open. She gets back into the car with Derry, and they watch as he gets out,
picks up the severed head and like sniffs it, licks it, then eats the tongue. Which is weird, and at this point it doesn't make any sense why he's eating just the tongue. But it's also like, why in general? Like, why did he not go and attack them if he attacked the cops and just killed them? They leave, they get to the cat lady house. And at this point it was like, oh, like something's about to happen here. This is the cat lady. And he's just standing there in the field. And then she shoots him, it blows up, and he's like he super speed. It's like, oh, he has like supernatural, like he can move so fast. And at that moment I'm like, but why doesn't he then use that more often? Why is this? You also have a little scene of him tossing the bodies into his truck. And it's just like, there was a couple of points in this film where I wasn't sure if it was a comedy or if it was a horror, because there was some definite like comedic tension. Like, when you sit down and look at it, the creeper killed these 2 police officers, and instead of giving chase to Derry and Trish, he wraps them up in sheets, ties them with rope, tosses them to his truck, and then he closes the door and it's like, okay. But then he opens it and tosses the severed head in. I'm like, okay, like that could have been an implied thing that didn't, like, adding that just kind of takes away like the horror tension of the scene, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to get too much into detail of the plot. He kills the cat lady, and I thought at first it was gonna be a really cool, like, oh my god, that's not the cat lady standing in the doorway, that's him, because they have similar hair. And then they just did he's actually holding the cat lady like up, like he's killing her as he walks out. And then he walks, and remember, literally a moment ago, he super sped jumped up over the roof and ran into the house. But now he's walking, and he literally walks slow enough to give them an opportunity to get into the car and then to try and drive him down. And this part, you cannot tell me, is not funny. They try and hit him, and he flips, like he runs over the car. Then they go to hit reverse, and he runs over the car again. They do it again, runs over. Like, once is but doing it like multiple times in a row, just like you're losing the horror. You've lost the horror tension. At this point, I'm not sitting on the edge of my seat. I'm worried what's gonna happen to the characters. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat because I'm like, what's gonna happen next? Like, is he gonna like start like? I don't know. I'm like, is this a parody? And I'm watching the wrong one. They run him down. They just keep running him over. And then Derry's like, stop. I'm like, what? You're the one that's traumatized because like, it bounces, and like, Trish has been very skeptic this entire point. They see him kill the cops. She still does not believe in this supernatural creature. Derry does, but at this point he's like, stop it. It's enough. It's like, you want to make sure it's dead. This thing is hunting you and trying to kill you. Make sure it's dead. They don't. They leave, get to the police station. They're there. The psychic shows up, and she's like explaining stuff. I'm like, she's also just like, she's still being very cryptic. And I'm like, why are you being cryptic at this point in the film? Because she straight up says she cannot see the end of it. So I'm like, okay, then answer the questions to the best of her ability. Restating her like not fully knowing what's going on doesn't help the film move. And then I think this is the part that's kind of crazy to me. The creeper breaks into the police station because it's revealed that anything he eats from a victim goes into him. So like, he eats a heart, gets a heart type of thing, which is weird and like not entirely consistent with how he's been acting the entire film, but I digress. And with this part, he's eating this inmate. Cop goes in, shoots, doesn't hurt him because they think he's wearing armor. So all the cops, which like, this is like a small police station, dozens of cops. I feel like it's like dozens of cops show up, all with ammo, like with guns. They go to like shoot him, take him out, and they don't. Like, it gets around them, and then like it's like this firefight, and you're like, and at this point, Derry's like, are your dreams ever wrong? Because she's insinuated that Trish is the one that the creeper wants. And she's like, don't go upstairs. Like, if you go to the holding room, that's where he gets you. And then she proceeds to go upstairs to the holding room. I'm like, but this is where you just said they would die if they go to. He goes up there. Trish drops down to her knees and starts praying. And then the creeper like comes and pulls her head back, licks her cheek and leaves. I'm like, but why didn't he kill her? Like, it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent of what reasons he kills certain people for and not others, which it bothers me a little bit. But regardless, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. He goes up there. They have a little like scene. All these cops now show up with all of this riot gear, assault weapons. Don't take a shot. The creeper is holding Derry because it's taking Derry. It's like holds both up, stiffs both of them, throws Trish out of the room. And I just don't understand why he doesn't kill her. Like, it doesn't seem to have any, like, anything holding it back from killing at random. But for some reason, Trish has just been safe this entire time. This is where it really lost me, is like this climax. The police station lost me. I think it did so well in the isolated, like, road, all that. Taking it to this police station where, like, realistically, this should be a big thing. It loses me because he makes it there and a car was able to hurt him, but bullets don't. He takes Derry and he flies out the window and not a single cop shoots. Not a single cop shoots. And it's this whole thing of like body count. The creeper has killed an inmate. At least 2 cops because he pulls a heart out of one. All these cops saw it. And so you think there's going to be some big impact or whatever. Does this long shot of Trish looking out at the moon. Or she runs out the front door, which, by the way, the reason they went upstairs is because the building was on lockdown and the doors did not work. They were locked. Literally in a moment, she's able to run from the second floor out the front door, chasing, screaming after him, calling his name. It flies away, fade shot, and then she's just there the next day in the police station. Business as usual. There's no ambulances. There's no anything. A cop brings someone in. Business as usual. The psychic comes in and she's like, when he asked you, are your visions ever wrong? And she goes, I'm just a crazy old woman. I'm like, you're clearly not a crazy old woman. Like, clearly you predicted this was going to happen. You dreamt this. And like, you have people who believe you because you were saying all this, but now you've flipped to the I'm just a crazy old woman. The film loses me in its third act, specifically the police station. Everything after they go to the police station, I'm lost. I just don't buy into it. I think it was a very good film, the first 2 acts. Honestly, up until they get to the police station, I'm in it. I can overlook small things. But the police station just makes no sense. And it ends on a weird note that makes absolutely no sense with how the entire film has been going. Including the final shot where the record's playing, which it's not really explained why the record means anything to the creeper. And it comes out to Derry's body and he's missing his eyes. But it's like not just his eyes, it's like everything back, it's a hole in his head, and then the creeper comes up and like you see his eye. And it's like Derry's eyes looking through. But the body that Derry finds in the church earlier, his like stomach is like stitched up. So it's like, why is that? But then now Derry's not. Like, there's no like stitching on his eyes. Just like things like that where I'm like, these are inconsistencies that just don't make sense to me and kind of take me out of that final act. So my thoughts overall, I'd give Jeepers Creepers like a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was a fun horror movie, but it wasn't that scary. I love horror movies though. I love the first 2 acts, and I love Justin Long. I like him in anything he's in. I think he usually does a very good job. So those are my thoughts on Jeepers Creepers.
That's gruesome. He just hole through the head. You realize like, oh, that was just like, it was him moving and showing like distance. I thought that was a really fun shot. The audience. And I think in this one, it was the bits and pieces. It was like, have you seen the cat lady yet?
Okay, and that's the end of the 11th episode of The Cutting Room Floor. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Have you seen Jeepers Creepers? Did you enjoy my analysis and my thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Even if you haven't seen it, let me know what you thought of it. This is a little bit different. Obviously, it's not my own project, so I'm not talking about the behind the scenes. I'm just kind of giving a synopsis and then talk about my thoughts. I'm a film guy. I'm a film geek, so I can go in and talk about a lot of stuff. Did you guys enjoy this? It's different than the other episodes of the Cutting Room Floor. But if you enjoyed this is absolutely something I can continue to do. Obviously, still talk about projects that I have made, projects that I have friends who have made. But I run out of stuff at some point. So if you guys want to see movie reviews, show reviews, the like, I'm absolutely more than happy to do that. And with that, I'm obviously more than happy to take requests. This video was a request. I love all kinds of films, so in the comments down below, if there's a film you want me to watch and review, let me know and I'll get to it, and you'll be responsible for a future episode of The Cutting Room Floor. But with that is all. The Patreon is linked in the description. It is now live, so you can go and sign up and check back on Tuesday for the Patreon exclusive episode. But if nothing else, I love you all to that. So thanks so much for watching today's episode, and I will see you on another episode very soon. Goodbye.